What's up, guys? How you guys doing tonight? This is Darren Jackson on the Darren Jackson Show. We're gonna go with Week 7. We had some really good games last week, some huge games, especially with the game at Planet Forest Stadium last week with Spring Westfield against Spring. It came down to the wire. Chase Snyder and I had get a chance to broadcast the game and stuff. Big shouts out to Chase Snyder. Definitely very happy that he got a chance to be able to broadcast with me while I got a chance to color commentate. We got some games this week, and I think that this is going to be a very interesting week 7. I think that week 7 is one of those weeks that anyone or anybody can get snuck up and get beat. The powerhouse schools are going to take on some of the teams that are not as strong as what we would indicate. And I'm going to go ahead and start out with some of the Thursday games that we are going to talk about tonight. And first game we're going to talk about is Willis at the Woodlands. Willis, and let me make sure if I'm saying this correct, in 13-6A, they are 3-2, and they're about to start out district play. Last week, everybody in district 13-6A had an open week, had a bye week. So it's the beginning of the district for these teams around that greater area. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Woodlands to knock off Willis, even though both teams are 3-2. I think the Woodlands are going to come along, and they're going to be a very strong team to watch out. I know a lot of people are predicting the Woodlands College Park or Conroe Grand Oaks to be one of the favorites to win the district, even though Conroe Grand Oaks is undefeated. And I think that this is going to be one premier matchup that a lot of people are going to say, hey, you got to take a look at Willis. Willis is on a 3-game winning streak. They knocked off Bel Air, they knocked off A&M Consolidated, and they knocked off Klein Collins. While the Woodlands had some tough games, they did take on a team from Mexico, which I think, actually they got a pretty big win, 62-0 2 weeks ago. So, like I said last week, some of the teams in 13-6A had decided to go ahead and take the week off. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Woodlands to knock off Willis. I think that this is going to be a pretty good game in the first half, but I think the Woodlands going to pull through. And 14-6A on Thursday, Spring at Aldine Eisenhower. I think that Spring is going to bounce back after that loss to Spring Westfield. I think they're going to be a team that a lot of people are going to take a look at and say, hey, we lost to a very good Westfield team who had knocked off Galena Park North Shore. And I think that this is going to be a very interesting district coming down to the stretch. I think Westfield has the lead right now in the district. Actually, they do have the lead in the district right now, and 14-6A. So Eisenhower did lose to Aldine Davis, but I think that this is going to be a matchup that Spring is going to take care of business. Bishop Davenport and Travis Sims Jr., as well as that defense, they're going to go ahead and handle their business against Aldine Eisenhower. But I would not be too surprised because Eisenhower could be a team that can sneak up on anyone or anybody and can knock them off. Aldine Nimitz at Spring Westfield. Like I said about Spring Westfield, they got the big win over Spring. Aldine Nimitz, on the other hand, had lost to Spring Katy. I'm going to go ahead and go with Spring Westfield on this one. I think it's too much Mustangs. They're on a roll right now. They're taking care of business. They're handling their business in the right way. Like I said, they had picked up 3 big wins straight: Jesuit, Fort Bend Hightower, and North Shore. And then they got that huge win last week at Planet Forest Stadium against Spring High School. And 15-6A, Tumble at Klein Collins. Tumble undefeated. Klein Collins got a pretty big win over Klein Oak last week, 20-10. I don't see nobody beating Tumble. I think Tumble is a team that a lot of people are going to take a look at. That think that they can make a big run in either Division One or Division Two in the playoffs. I think that October 30th big matchup at Klein Kane would be for the district championship. That could be the deciding factor. But like I said, that could be the matchup of all matchups to watch out in the district. I see that Klein King is 2-0 in the district, just like Tumble. Tumble is still undefeated due to the fact that Klein King lost in the season opener against Bridgeland. I think that Tumble is going to handle business this week. Sidewoods at Langham Creek, 16-6A. I'm just going to go ahead and pick out Langham Creek. Actually, Tightwoods. I'm gonna pick Tightwoods to win that one. Sorry, Langham Creek. I was gonna pick you guys, but I think that after Tightwoods lost to Bridgeland, I think they're going to bounce back. They're going to go ahead and take care of business. Side Springs, Langham Creek defeated Side Springs 36-13 last week. I think that this is going to be another premier matchup that in that district is it's going to be between next week's matchup between Bridgeland and Side Park to decide who's going to go for the district championship. Also, you also got Side Ranch, who is undefeated in the district, and they're going to play Bridgeland that Saturday night at Side Fair Federal Credit Union, also known as the Berry Center. 17-6A on Thursday night, you have Side Ridge at Side Creek. Both teams coming off losses. I think Side Creek is going to bounce back. They're going to take care of Side Ridge. That's my pick on that one. Spring Woods at Stratford at Tully Stadium. I'm going to go with Stratford. Stratford's undefeated, 5-0, 2-0 in the district. They took care of Side Ridge, while Spring Woods lost to Memorial 41-6. That should be a pretty good matchup. 18-6A within the district. It is Houston South Houston at Westbury. I'm going to go with Westbury to knock off South Houston. 19-6A, Katy Taylor at Katy Tompkins. I'm going to go ahead and pick Katy Tompkins. They're going to bounce back after they got hammered by Katy last week. And Katy Taylor lost to Seven Lakes. This has not been a good year for Katy Taylor, even though they got the season opening win over Side Springs. They are on a 5-game losing streak, losing to George Ranch, losing to Side Fair, losing to Klein Kane, also losing to Morton Ranch and Seven Lakes. Tompkins is not going to be an easy schedule for these guys. I think Katy Taylor is on a down year this year. I got to say that Tompkins is going to look a little bit better after losing to Katy, 56-21. I think that that's going to be a matchup that's going to be all Tompkins. 26A in the district. You have Fort Bend Austin at George Ranch. I'm going to go ahead and go with George Ranch on this one, even though George Ranch lost to Fort Bend Travis 33-29, and Fort Bend Austin had a bye week last week. I think that this is going to be more of the same, where George Ranch is just going to go ahead and handle their business. I think that this is going to be another intriguing matchup that people want to definitely take a look into. But I think it's going to be more of George Ranch in that matchup. Other matchups you have is Galena Park North Shore taking on Humble Kingwood, and 21-6A. It's going to be all Galena Park North Shore. I don't see nobody stopping North Shore so far right now. Like I said, even though their only loss was to Spring Westfield, I don't see Kingwood doing anything because they're 0-6 and 0-2 in the district, losing to both CE King and Tascasita. They're going through a heavyweight matchup with so many heavyweight teams, and there's only going to be four teams in that district that's going to make the playoffs. Two teams going to be in Division One, two teams going to be in Division Two. I think that Atascocita and North Shore could be able to be D1, while Beaumont Westbrook and Sheldon C. King. Actually, Westbrook will be Division Two. That I do know of. I think Atascocita would be D1. I think that North Shore would be D1, and I think King would probably be D2. So it could be a up and down, up and down. We like I said, I'm not 100% sure on what can transpire, but we do know North Shore will be Division One in the playoffs in Region Three. Other matchups to watch out for Thursday night is Pasadena Dobie at Pasadena. I'm going to pick with Dobie to knock off Pasadena. Alvin at A-Leaf Hastings. I'm going to go with A-Leaf Hastings to knock off Alvin. That could be the upset right there on Thursday night at Crump Stadium. Hastings is 0-5, and Alvin actually Alvin is 3-2. Let me go ahead and retrace back on that one. I'm going to switch that one. Let me go ahead and switch it to Alvin knocking off Hastings. I know Hastings. I know you guys are probably going to be a little upset with me once you can be able to get a chance to watch this. I think that Hastings is not as good as what I expected for them to be, even though they took some heavy losses this year, especially with the likes of Jersey Village, Cy Falls, Morton Ranch, Pearland Dawson, and Straight Tightwood. Other matchups, Dickinson at Brasselswood. I think that this is going to be one of the biggest matchups in the state. I have a funny feeling about this matchup because Dickinson, to me, have always been one of those top teams. They do have one of the top tight ends in the country. They're 2-0 in the district. Only two losses they ever had was to Ridgepoint and to Katy. But Ridgepoint and Katy were the two closest games so far. I don't see nobody stopping Dickinson unless if it's Brasselswood. Brasselswood, even though they did have that loss to Cinco Ranch, I got a chance to broadcast for Texan Live. I think that this is going to be a very good matchup. I think that Dickinson is going to have a little bit too much firepower to display. I think trying to think the kid name Donovan. I want to say Donovan. Let me make sure if I'm saying his name right. Are you done with it? No, not yet. It's Donovan Green. That's his name. I think that team is just going to be too good to be true. Other matchups, Laporte at Baytown Sterling. I'm going to go with Baytown Sterling and knock off Laporte. Wisdom at Katy Paytow. I think Paytow should get the win. AM Consolidated at Montgomery Lake Creek. AM Consolidated will get the win. Madison at Waltrip. That should be a good one. North Forest at Wheatley and Yates at Scarborough. I'm going to go with Madison, North Forest, and Yates. All right, Friday games. We got Oak Ridge at Conroe. The Woodlands College Park at Grand Oaks. Aldine Davis at Aldine. Aldine MacArthur at Spring Decaney. Klein at Tumble Memorial. Klein Kane at Klein Forest. The game that I will be doing at the Berry Center is Cy Springs at Cy Lakes. We also have Cy Fair at Jersey Village at Parisian Stadium. That should be a very good matchup right there. Northbrook at Memorial. Lamar at Bel Air. Katy at Maid Creek. Morton Ranch at Seven Lakes. Dulles at Ridgepoint. Atascocita against Summer Creek. Channelview at Deer Park. Pasadena Sam Houston at Pasadena Memorial. Elsick at Pearland. Straight Judgewood at Shadow Creek. Pearland Dawson is going to go to Crump Stadium, take on A. Taylor. Clear Creek at Clear Brook. Clear Falls at Clear Springs. Goose Creek Memorial at Baytown Lee, Friendswood at Beaumont United, Galveston Ball at Port Arthur Memorial, Manville at Angleton, Hightower at Richmond Foster, Brian Rudder at Montgomery, Lamar Consolidated at Huntsville, Fort Bend Marshall against Austin, Barbers Hills against Port Neches Groves, Humble Kingwood Park at Crosby, Dayton at Santa Fe. Then you have Nederland at Texas City. Should be a very good matchup right there. Worthing at Fur, Washington at Cashmere, Bay City at Freeport, Port. El Campo is at Needville. Then you have your Saturday games. Side Ranch at Bridgeland, that should be at the Berry Center. The game I'll be on Saturday at Persian Stadium will be between Side Park and Side Falls. Houston Heights at Chavez, Fort Bend Travis at Fort Bend Bush, Beaumont Westbrook at Humble, Rosenberg Terry at Kempner, Galena Park at Northside, and Sterling at Sharpstown. So there are going to be some very key matchups this week that I think there's not going to be too many upsets, but I think that it's just going to have some heavyweight teams that's going to knock out the mediocre teams. What I can be able to say is this: the matchup that will be Saturday night between Cy Park and Cy Falls. I gotta say this: Cy Falls. I'm so sorry I'm gonna say this, but Cy Park is just going to handle business. Harold Perkins, Cameron King, Edward Dixon. Those guys are just going to take care of business, and then they're going to get ready for that big game next week against Bridgeland, which we'll talk about next week. I'm not going to put no prediction into that game, but I am going to say that is going to be one heck of a game to watch. So with that being said, guys, next week I'm going to get back into some more predictions for week 8, and hopefully you guys can get a chance to watch the show. So until then, guys, definitely will be able to talk to you guys on Thursday night. Hopefully I'll be at Prigion Stadium to get ready to cover for the Houston Chronicle, and then Friday night you'll see me on Texan Live to broadcast Cy Springs versus Cy Lakes. So, and until then, guys, you guys have a good night and stay blessed, and may God be with you all. Peace.